from the jump, the episode reveals Black Maria's devil fruit to us, which is that she's a spider woman, with her entire bottom half being the body of a spider, which is not really all that surprising, as the anime does kind of make it a lot more obvious. I think that the thing that is the thing that entrapped Sanji was spider webbing. But one thing I always curious about and still am is why Oda had chosen now of all times to introduce a spider zone devil fruit. Like don't get me wrong, we've gotten a whole the thing is we've gotten a whole bunch of zone type devil fruits up to this point, but it's only now that we've seen a spider type, and I guess it's because it is like an ancient type spider zone fruit. That's the reason why. But it's like he still could have like shown. I don't know. It's like a weird. It's one of those weird things where I get hung up on semantics of why we haven't seen other like spider devil fruits up to this point. I don't know. Call my paranoia, but I do find that a little odd, honestly. And I'll give the anime this: they somehow made the face of Maria's spider abdomen even creepier and way more disturbing than it was in the manga. Like it's not enough to be half spider, but you got to plaster a face on the damn spider half too. Like probably not helped either by the lighting choice and that whole scene. Like the whole thing felt like it was something out of a horror movie or a haunted house or something. Like just the whole set lighting of the scene with Sanji and Black Maria, that felt like some horror vibes for sure. And yeah, we also get to see Who's Who play a little bit of wordy mind games with Jinbei, which was simple enough, but also established a very important connection that even though they haven't met, he's still acquainted with. They're still like Who's Who is still acquainted with Jinbei. Now, let's talk about the big thing about this episode, which is that we see Yamato detailing her backstory of how she met Ace. And I think the anime added a couple extra pieces to this flashback. Now, and keep in mind, I'm not talking about the Marineford bits of Ace's childhood, but it does feel like certain scenes and moments were added onto this flashback that weren't in the manga, because obvious padding aside, there are certain moments I honestly don't remember from reading in the manga. So for however small additions there were, it is nice to see them added just to add that extra little bit of context to what was already there, rather than their usual thing of just trying to pad it out even more. With that being the case, though, the flashback actually gives us a look into how Ace and Yamato met, and it is kind of ironic how in some ways they really did bond over the hatred they shared for their fathers, yet only one of them was really allowed was really allowing it to control their life. I mean, Roger's legacy definitely had a grip on Ace's life for a time, but thanks to Garp, he was able to work himself free of those shackles and become his own person. Whereas Yamato back then, and honestly even a little bit now, still feels like she's fighting every step to make sure she's not consumed by Kaido's enormous shadow. I mean, honestly, again, as we see in this episode, thanks to Ace, Yamato's not as emotionally closed off, and even helped her overcome her fear of her father and just break that bond just break the bond between, like, that's kept her tied to her father, but break a bond. But even thanks to Ace's help of doing all this, it's still those handcuffs in itself. Obviously, she still is trapped, and she's just trying to, like, I think it almost feels like she's like trying to, like, just officially gain her freedom at this point. Like she won't truly know true freedom until Kaido is defeated. Also adding to that irony is that despite both having a hatred for their fathers, Ace still came to fight Kaido as Roger had done before. Like, we didn't see Roger and Kaido fight, but it's assumed they did fight before. And yeah, it is kind of funny how despite Ace hating his father, he's basically doing the same thing his father did. Also, again, going back to the whole Also, it was just a tease, but we pretty much learned the how much the term worst father in One Piece history can easily apply to Kaido, because yeah, his methods of parenting and making Yamato stronger, it borders on child abuse, if not already. Like, again, it was just a tease of it, but we basically got a little bit of what's to come with more of Yamato's backstory in terms of her relationship with her father Kaido. And yeah, it's just from a single scene of Kaido basically locking Yamato up, you can see that yeah, Kaido wasn't exactly a born father. Like, like honestly, it truly is one of those things where I'm like, what? Where is Yamato? It's one of those scenes that's very simple, but it kind of begs the question of where the hell Yamato's mother is in all this. Like, that's my biggest question out of everything, is I want to know where, like, what happened to Yamato's mother? Where exactly is she? Did Kaido kill her after she gave birth to Yamato? Like, what's the deal there? Like, it's one of those times where I wouldn't mind a little bit of filler in regards to that, but I don't know if we're gonna get it. And yeah, honestly, this is such a weird episode, because even though majority of the focus of this episode was on the flashback, it didn't feel as sluggish as previous episodes. In fact, it's practically a meme to say this on the internet now, but this was to me, this is an example of a 20-minute episode that felt like 5 minutes. I guess 8 minutes, if I'm counting for the fact that the beginning portion with Sanji and Black Maria did drag its feet a little bit. But yeah, the episode as a whole, like, it's one of those episodes that didn't really even feel that long. But I think a good portion of that, is also because, and I hadn't realized this until just now, but apparently this episode actually adapted a portion of chapter 999. So we're basically only like half, so only like pretty much half an episode away. Like we're pretty much practically one episode away from chapter 1000 being adapted, or roof piece as people call it. And one of the things I think as to why people build this up so much and why it's important is because chapter 1000 onwards is where the pacing really starts getting insane. Sometimes a little too insane, as I've made note of in my more recent manga reviews. But yeah, everything from this point onwards is going to be one crazy moment after another, regardless of pacing. And honestly, again, the anime keeps teasing me with that Who's Who versus Jinbei fight to the point where it's getting a little bit infuriating, honestly. Like, just give me the full-on fight, but I know I'm gonna have to wait for it. And it was kind of a nice exchange in seeing Jinbei say, "I'm the helmsman of the Strats." Like, nice little conversations like that are kind of always nice with Jinbei. I also like how ultimately, even though Ace was largely gushing over Luffy during his conversations with Yamato in their flashback, those conversations he was talking about building up Luffy as a pirate that will become gray one day, they did ultimately become reality. But of course, also with that comes the tragedy that when pretty much Ace said that he'll come back one day to kill Kaido, that was a promise that was left unfilled. But now it's fallen in Luffy's shoulders to pretty much do that exact thing. So yeah, but yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Analyst, Crunchyroll, push the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight of May, signing off. Later, everyone.